I have to ask for something, you know.
Hello, I will call to order the Lincoln City Council regular meeting. Today is Thursday, August 7th, 2025. It is 6 p.m. If we could stand for allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I can honestly say that Marshall and Cinda rather well. If we could get the roll call, please. Jamaica.
Here.
Here. Here. Here. Kirkland. Here.
Here.
All right, now we have the agenda approval.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I would like to actually strike under old business number 12. We'll put that on for.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
We have a first by Councilman Davis, second by Councilman Buren. Shoemaker, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And so moved. Next, under the consent agenda, we have the July 17th, 2025 minutes, the June statement, May statement, and July payables.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, the minutes, June and May and July. June and May statements and July payments. Sorry.
We have a first by Councilman Davis.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Bjornstad. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And so moved. Next, we have the time for public comment. Was there any public comment that was sent into the office? Okay, done. So we'll have this first call for public comment. Second call. And third and final call. Number 7, under old business is wastewater update, rate study with our city of Juniper. Really, Marcel.
Good evening, council members. An update tonight for the wastewater and rate study. The city of Lincoln continues to evaluate critical infrastructure decisions. As part of this, the city had initiated a comprehensive rate study. Right now, we are looking at amendment number 1 to this existing wastewater regionalization design and construction administration agreement. With that, we'll be looking for approval. We also have a permit application that has been worked on, and population projections and design flows and loads. Those have been documented in separate technical memoranda, and those could be incorporated into a facility plan amendment if the city opts to build its own treatment facility. Director Shute and Eric with SEH had intended to meet yesterday. I'm not sure if that has happened, but I know that they're planning to discuss those details and work forward on getting that information together for the study. We have also received substantial amount of data for the rate study from the city, and thank you for all that contributed to that amount of data. We will be reviewing those materials and begin organizing that into the final draft and financial model. Previous coordination was held on July 16th between SEH and city staff to discuss those population projections and data needs, and direction was provided to SEH. And the city is actively working to share additional data. soon as possible. Again, with legal review, our city attorney is requesting an amendment. First amendment to amendment number 1 of the wastewater agreement to reflect the evolving scope of work. And the draft was reviewed by both parties. So there's a lot there going on. Do you have any questions from me regarding this item, background information, what we have going on? That I can answer for you.
Awesome. I don't have any questions at this time. And if you're soon.
All right, and I believe if I understand this correctly, you will be talking about the amendment to the agreement under number 9 of old business.
Yep, yes.
Update for payment management program. Some background information is that the city is working on pavement preservation plan, which includes roadway condition assessments and long-term capital plans. A foundational step was creation of GIS-based roadway segments, which were uploaded into the paper software and calculating a pavement condition and index rating. See if I can spit that out. These ratings will inform future maintenance strategies and capital improvement planning. The field data was collected on July 25th. The paper data processing began the week of the 28th, and report development is now underway. The next steps and needs from SEH. We are working to develop a narrative explaining the assessment and planning process, creating maps and graphs relevant to scenario analysis, and highlighting key findings to develop 4 separate 5-year budget models. Those 4 models are to do nothing, to maintain current budget levels, to apply a proposed budget set by the city, and apply a higher budget set by the city. Then we'll prepare a 5-year CIP planning document for selected roadways, including anticipated costs, construction years, and a brief project description for each of those projects. What we're asking from the city of Lincoln is to provide budget goals for maintenance and capital improvements to support scenario models 2 through 4. Any questions regarding the pavement management program project update? Great, thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
And we have on here old business number 9, the addendum, the amendment was water study.
Madam Mayor, so as I think we discussed when SEH brought the initial addendum to the council, the initial wastewater agreement is several years old, and then reviewing that in light of backup. So one of the things that you guys had discussed was that there had been a rate study done for a different purpose, and we were trying to see if that data could be used, and there was some question about the data. And so I looked at the underlying SEH agreement, and as I noted in an email that I sent to you, the language of that agreement isn't 100% clear as to data, the use of the data. So just to make it real clear that this data that is being created as part of this study belongs to the city of Lincoln. I suggested an addendum to the First Amendment just to add a language that would make it clear that the city owns this data that is paying to have created. We used the language that came out of the paper agreement, so it's language that you've already reviewed and approved, and that SEH has reviewed and approved. And my understanding is SEH has signed the agreement, so I just need approval for the mayor and the auditor to sign this amendment.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended amendment number 1.
We have a motion by Councilman Davis,
I'll second the motion.
second by Councilman Art Polligan, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And if we get a roll call on that, please.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Martha,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Brunson,
Yes.
Thank you. Number 10, the ordinance to amend commercial grade dumpsters, first reading.
My understanding is that the last meeting, Gavin from my office was here, that the board reviewed this ordinance, makes changes to sections 20202 and creates a new section 50208 of the Lincoln Municipal Code, designed to address the use of commercial grade dumpsters and creates a permanent process. So a motion to approve the first reading is in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of ordinance, oh shoot. 2025, ordinance 2025, yeah.
We have a first by Councilwoman Davis, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Councilwoman Artavia, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And if we could get the roll call on that, please.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Martha,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Brunson,
Yes.
All right, we are no longer discussing 12, so we can move on to item number 13, Lincoln Park District sponsorship.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am here on behalf of the Lincoln Park District to request sponsorship for a transportation alternatives project that the Lincoln Park District is considering. This is for the fiscal year 2028 transportation alternatives that's programmed through the NDDOT. And Lincoln Park District is looking to potentially extend the walking path along Lincoln Road to the west and are requesting sponsorship for that, since the Lincoln Park District's not allowed to be the application sponsor. They have to go through either through the city or through the county. That project also includes potentially putting lighting along the new pathway that's under construction along 66th Street right now. So it would be both the lighting aspect of that and to do the new pathway to the west along Good Road. The letter that I put together had some general explanations of what that project would look like. And at this time, the Lincoln Park District is planning to fund that themselves. Of course, they're welcome to people helping with that. It would be an expensive endeavor. The lighting along 66th Street is a considerable fee. But we think this program is a good option for the Lincoln Park District, as it does provide a 80.83% grant match to this. So Lincoln Park District would still be responsible for about 19% of this project in fiscal year 28. But they are also responsible for all engineering, construction engineering, material testing, and any right-of-way acquisition and environmental documents that go along with this. So they also have to provide that. So I don't know if there's any general questions. I'm more than happy to answer any, as I tried to put it into that letter that I submitted with the maps and stuff, but any questions on that?
No questions. I'm excited for it though. It's definitely nice to add to the town.
Just for clarification, the sponsorship doesn't bring any financial responsibility to the city.
That's correct. It does not require the city to be financially responsible for this. So the application that would be submitted, the initial packet's due to the MPO on August 22nd. So we would need to, we've already put together a draft initial application that they would review. And so we would list the city of Lincoln as our sponsorship. And that would essentially mean that my understanding is that the city of Lincoln would then be they would basically be the sponsor through the DOT. So DOT would essentially be working through the city of Lincoln with the Lincoln Park District as a government body of the city of Lincoln. So,
And do you know, is the city going to have to sign an agreement with the Department of Transportation? or does the park district sign the agreement? I was looking on the MDOT's website to see if I could find, some kind of, fact sheet or something that might provide a little bit of direction of what it meant to be a sponsor. What I'm wondering is if there is some initial responsibility for the city to sign some agreement with the Department of Transportation, whether we need to have a side agreement between the city and the park district to kind of, bind them up as well. I'm just not familiar enough of whether or not they're working for a fiscal agent or whether there's some, responsibility that comes with being a sponsor. And I don't know if you don't know the answer, if you can maybe send me something as we get further into this.
Yeah, I can certainly do that. I know at this point that the information on DOT's website is still from last year, even though things are coming due this month. The local public agency division or the local government division of the DOT is, they've been busy, I'll just say. I know that they've had some employee movement in their division. And so when the MPO did send out the information, it was still last year's information. But I will do my best. I couldn't find anything when I was looking on the DOT website for information pertaining to this. I know the city of Lincoln has done this before on projects. I know that the city of Lincoln was the one that did the actual sidewalk and stuff down Dolan Drive. And the section out here, and that some of the other trail that has been constructed on Lincoln Road was through the transportation alternatives also. But I believe that was all city of Lincoln, not through the park district. So I will inquire about that. I guess one section that was done, and I can look back to this, but the section of trail in front of Senex, all the way to Benteen, that was Lincoln Park District, funded through the transportation alternative project. Or maybe that was not recreational trails and parks project, but I can certainly pull up some of these old agreements and see what I can find. And if I can't find anything, I'll certainly reach out to the local government agency at DOT and try to get those full info.
That would be appreciated.
Okay.
As a council member, I don't see us not becoming part of a sponsorship if it doesn't entail with, all the other fun jazz, right, of having responsibilities of some sort, but becoming a sponsor and having our name put on it. I don't see anything wrong with that, but.
I know that one of the responsibilities that is clear in this document from the DOT is that the maintenance, there has to be a maintenance agreement for this section. So part of this process would certainly be putting together an agreement between the city of Lincoln and Lincoln Park District for maintenance of that. I believe that the Lincoln Park District anticipates performing maintenance of that pathway. So there would need to be some kind of an agreement to make sure that's clear also.
Matt, how is the pathway on Lincoln Road being cared for and maintained in the winter now? Who clears that?
I believe it's the park district, but yeah, I'm
Okay,
not too involved with that.
If they could do that. Now, is this off of 66? It's not to be paid this year, correct? It's, about one of the, I think it's a big job.
So like a little on topic, the 66th Street pathway was applied for recreational trails and parks grant, which would have been just a gravel trail. The city or the Lincoln Park District was not awarded those grant funds, so the 66th Street trail going in right now is totally out of the accounts of the Lincoln Park District, so they opted to perform the paving right away. So I guess just for a city update, that project is planned to be paid by the end of next week, so.
So, we will have time before the 22nd deadline.
Do we have one meeting?
20, oh, that
We
would
have
be the
a meeting on the
21st.
21st. Are you gonna need our determination tonight?
That was the intent. I don't have all the answers. I'd have to go to.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with the city becoming the sponsor, right? It's an 80-20, there's the federal money, as I understand it. So this is a good deal for the city. I just think that we might just need to document if the city has responsibilities or financial obligations as being sponsored, it's the intent that the park district's going to ultimately be responsible, then we would just want a side agreement between the city and the park district or joint powers agreement or whatever it is, so that these relationships are just really clearly spelled out. So I don't have any issue with moving forward with this tonight. I just, as we get to the point where the DOT is gonna want the city to sign something, then I'm gonna wanna know what that is and have an understanding of how we make sure that the park district is as part of that.
Absolutely, yes.
We have a document and by some kind of written agreement.
Right, and that specifically for the maintenance. And.
I guess one part that I might foresee is if being a sponsor, if payment would be required through the city of Lincoln. And if that was the case, then the park district would then have to enter into some agreement to pay the city to then pay the contractor, but I'm not entirely sure how it works through.
I'm wondering if it's just that the city is a fiscal agent, you know, that the feds, I mean, I don't know across the country if park districts are considered standalone political subdivision, you know, entities across the country. Here they are, they do have legal status as a park district, but it might be that the feds require a city to be as fiscal agent for the park district, and we just need to I need to have some understanding of what we're agreeing to do and what the park district's agreeing to do, and make sure that we document that, because the park district is not an arm of the city, it's a standalone entity. So, I mean, it's none of that I think is insurmountable, we'll be able to figure it out.
So I guess then it's wishes of council.
Make a motion to approve the sponsorship of Lincoln for Lincoln Park District.
We have a first by Councilman Davis, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Bjornstead. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? If we can get the roll call, please.
Schumacher.
Yes.
Martalia.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Martha.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, goodness. Yes. Thank you. We'll go back to ordinance to amend the commercial, draft ordinance regarding storage containers. Thank you for bringing that.
I emailed this to you yesterday, I apologize if that's so late. Gavin had it drafted, I just did not have a chance to look at it until today, so that's on me and not on him. So the genesis of this is somebody within the territorial jurisdiction of the city had asked permission to bring a storage container in on a somewhat permanent basis, and our conclusion was that that was not allowable, because we were viewing that as being kind of like a permanent structure, you know, looking at through the code as far as what the requirements were and where it would have to be located. But the city does not have a clear portable storage container ordinance. And so Gavin, and my understanding was discussed at the last meeting when Gavin was here, and he used as a template what the city of Bismarck has, the definitions and kind of the outline. We have that in front of you. Because different zoning categories in the city have different needs for storage containers. This technically is a change to the region zoning, so unlike the ordinance on dumpsters, which is a citywide ordinance, this is a change to zoning uses. And the reason that's significant is whenever the council changes zoning, then the council has to have a public hearing, because it does change the zoning categories. So the council's choices are, it can do nothing and set this for a public hearing and have a public hearing and a first reading. It can have a first reading of this tonight and then set the public hearing before the second reading and then have a second reading, right? So, or do nothing, I guess, if you want more time. But those are your options.
Council?
I guess I think I would be fine with having tonight be the first reading, set it up, publish it, and then have a second reading after that.
Here's the motion.
I'd make a motion to approve first reading.
Okay, we have a first by Councilman Bjornston. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Shoemaker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we'll call for that, please. Shoemaker.
Yes.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Bjornston.
Yes.
So I think that a motion to set the matter for public hearing would actually be appropriate. And I didn't look at the timing provisions for how much notice. I don't suppose you recall off the top of your head for zoning changes, how much time. Yeah, so, I guess maybe a motion to approve, publication and public hearing, and then we'll figure out. Yeah,
I'll make a motion to, for the public hearing.
Okay, we have a first by Councilwoman Artavia,
I'll second.
second by Councilwoman Davis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And if we could get the roll call, please.
Shoemaker.
Yes.
Fabio.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Bjornston.
Yes.
All right, and you will schedule that. All right, next we have Lincoln event schedule and parade entry. EGC.
So I'm just gonna run through the schedule real quick if you guys have any questions, and then we are going to request some things from the city to assist us. So I'll interject those as we go through. So Friday we have the Luau phone party. There's a color dash at the Lincoln Elementary School that's kind of targeted towards the younger children, but anybody can be involved. That is going to be at the main entrance around the parking lot. The escape room is available on any of the kids. This one is based on kind of 16 years and older because it requires a little more education to get this one, but adults can come too, and it is a lot of fun. That will be at the Lincoln Church and Community Center on the corner of Lincoln Road and 17. And then there is going to be some childcare at Peace Lutheran Church. It is not free, but it is available for parents that need an evening out for that night from 7 to 11. Saturday morning, we have a parade. The parade starts at 10 a.m., but the lineup is at 9 o'clock. And we would like to have the council members available like we did last year. If you guys have it in your schedules. If you want to hand out candy, or I think last year they handed out, was it water bottles or something?
Candy, we did candy.
Did candy,
The
okay.
release, or the DVD.
The water bottles, okay. And I think that someone has contacted the police department, but we're gonna ask them to be in the parade too. We would like they're also, I believe the PD is also gonna be involved in the touch a truck. And Public Works is going to be involved, I believe, in the touch a truck and the parade. We are going to have a dunk tank that day from 11 to 2. So we're asking for, we need 3 people per hour. We'd like some from the police department, we'd like some from Public Works, and we'd really love to have a couple council members. So if you guys could get a hold of me afterwards, or one of the people on the Lincoln Days committee, all of us are also on the EDC, so you should have our emails. And so let's see, your families are invited to walk with you on the parade. So please have them come with. We'll have the little truck again this year, the little Model T, so that you guys can put your stuff on there and then walk. Let's see here. We could use a couple volunteers for the escape room on Friday night. If you are interested in volunteering and helping us with that,
We are having a meeting on Monday at 7 o'clock at the Lincoln Community Church. We will go through how the escape room works, and you get to actually do it yourself. So you'll learn firsthand how it works, and I guess it's a lot of fun. So on Saturday morning, again, when the lineup will be at 9:30, and we'll be on, I believe that's Mercury Way, there around Mercury Way, around the school. There'll be a vendor show in the elementary gym. The touch of truck will be there in the east parking lot, which I believe they call the teachers parking lot. There's kids activities. All of this is free. Bounce houses, the dunk tank, face painting, balloon animals, scavenger hunt, the barrel cars. We finally found someone that had the barrel cars again. So, and it's gonna be free. They don't have to pay. There will be a free lunch. Dakota Community Bank is sponsoring that. It's from 11 to 1 and until they run out. There's going to be a water ball competition by the fire departments. And then they're gonna have the spray house, I believe, for all the kids and adults and people, families to use. That's sponsored by the Bismarck Rural Firefighters Association. We will have, there will be, also, it's called Smooch Smooch Lemonade. That is not free. I believe that there's some area Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts doing some activities and things also there. They're doing as a fundraiser. And, there will be food trucks that day. They will be at the Lincoln Community Church. And we have 5 of them so far. The Smooch Smooch Lemonade will move from the school over there. And they will be a little taste of Mexico, Hot Mandy, Dairy Barn Creations, Diamond H Eatery, and Big Mouth Eatery. So, and then in the evening, All Aces will be playing at the parking lot at Crystal's right next to the food trucks. So, and then Sunday, at Millennium Park, we are going to have yoga at 8 o'clock in the morning, sponsored by Lincoln Fitness. We were trying to involve all the local businesses and, you know, just something for everybody. There's gonna be a coffee social from 8:45 to 9:30, sponsored by the Cat Cafe. And then at 9:30, there's gonna be a church service hosted by Peace Lutheran Church. And then from 10:30 to 2, we're gonna have Olive's ice cream truck. That is not free, but I believe that we were offering some kind of discount, but that may have not happened, so. But you will have to purchase that. So there's gonna be bouncy inflatables there again. And, the roller derby girls are supposed to be coming out to skate with people on the, path there. So bring your roller blades and roller skates. Make sure you got your key for your roller skates. So. For those of us that knows what that is. And then there will be a free lunch on Sunday at the Millennial Park also, and that is hosted by the Lincoln Parks. And they're also gonna have frolfing again this year. So please, if anybody wants any posters, I have some. Do you want to put some around town? We've been posting it online, and anybody that has any questions, I know the girls in the office were getting questions and stuff too, so. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I would love some posters.
You want some posters? Okay. Anybody else? Questions about anything? Okay, let me make sure, let's see, oh, the other thing that we were asking too is that if it's possible, Terry, and the park district, we're gonna ask, if there can be any kind of a mosquito spray. The mosquitoes are so bad this year. We've got people out in the school, we're asking the school also. We're getting a lot of activities outside and the mosquitoes, we wanna be passed around West Nile. So if it's possible, we're asking for that if you can. So, I know it's late notice, but it has been a really tough summer with all the rain. The mosquitoes they're big enough to pick you up and take you away. So, let's see here. I think I covered everything. Thank you guys. I appreciate your time.
It's gonna be a great time.
There was one more thing.
one thing.
Yeah, just with the city, the city, like we did last year with the spray house and the water ball. We'll be hooking up to the fire hydrants, so it's not gonna be used for emergency purposes. I think last year, we asked. Just so they're aware that there's gonna be a little bit of water usage. And I think that council had no problems with it, but at least so they're aware of that.
Very good.
All right, and now I was going to have this part of my portfolio, but do we want to go or to walk the parade like we did last year? I think that should be on board, so.
I should have time, yeah, shouldn't I? I think Bean will be excited to walk again.
Is what to do that, yes. So I guess that's a yes for us. Thank you. All right, so now we have the Lincoln mission statement. Draft is put in, when I believe our deputy auditor is the one who requested that we do this as part of updating our employee handbook and the new website that we have to where we can relay some of this information. So this is a draft for us to take a look at and see if we're okay with this one, or if we want to alter it in some way, or did we relook it? And for those of you that are in the audience, I'll just go ahead and read the mission statement that was presented. The mission of the city of Lincoln is to provide responsive, ethical, and effective municipal services that enhance the quality of life for our residents, promote responsible growth, and maintain a safe, welcoming community. We are committed to professionalism, accountability, and respectful services to the public in all that we do.
I like it.
Don't see any issues with it.
Okay, next we will look at the vision. The vision, our vision is to build a thriving, connected, and forward-thinking community where families, businesses, and visitors feel valued and supported. We envision Lincoln as a model of good governance, sustainable development, and civic pride, guided by collaborative leadership and a shared commitment to excellence.
See anything wrong with that one either.
And our core values, integrity, which would be acting with honesty, transparency, and fairness. Responsiveness would be serving the public with timeliness, care. Excellence, which would be striving for quality and continuous improvement. Respect, valuing diversity, teamwork, and community partnerships. Stewardship, which would be using public resources wisely and efficiently.
I have no objections to adding stuff to it. Would you want to, like, have a,
Yes. And it would be posted on website or anywhere that we typically have. Probably in our comprehensive plan. That would go forward also.
I like it.
I was gonna suggest, so you read the last one with the word efficiency or efficiently, I was gonna say, word efficiency somewhere in the vision. Good governance efficiency is the annual development. Just to promote government efficiency.
Right?
So you're changing?
Oh,
No.
no, I'd say it's fine as it is.
Sufficient, okay. All right, well, then do we just want to have, just a clear motion for this to be included as the official mission, vision, and core values for the city of Lincoln?
I'd make a motion to accept or approve this document for the mission, vision, and our core values.
And we have a first by Councilman Bjornstam, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Schindler, all in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? And we now have mission, vision, and core values. Number 16, the sealed bids for the police squad part.
Good evening, council, Mayor. Matt Giddings here, Chief of Police. I know I don't look like it, I'm undercover today. Going on the family after this, so. I only got 3 bids and all 3 of them were provided after the deadline. So that immediately is something that you'll keep in mind that they had, it was a requirement that they had to have it in by August 4th at noon. None of them came in at that time. Second part of that is one of our sealed bids came in just dropping off at the office. The individual did not seal it, so we had to seal it up for them to assist them. So that one was not sealed either. So I have, looks like I have 2 sealed bids for the 2016 Ford Police Interceptor Utility and one for the 2018 Chevy Tahoe. Most important thing for you guys to know about this, you don't have to accept anything, and these are not agreements to sell the vehicle to the individual. You guys get to decide, yep, this is the money that we want to get out of this vehicle, and you guys as the city council get to determine whether or not we're going to sell them. If we go through this whole process and you're like, this is not a good dollar amount for any of our vehicles, we'd like to see it go out again for sealed bid, or at that time, you guys can also say, well, should we put a dollar amount on it? That's when we have to get an approval for you. So when we posted them, there was no dollar amount, no bid, nothing. It was name your price, like put it in for whatever. And so if we open these and we don't like the prices or the value that we're getting for it, we can turn around and do it again. And I would actually at this time then ask you guys to say, what kind of dollar amount are we looking for? Doesn't mean that we have to again put it on there. It's just that way we have a rough idea of what we'd like to get for them. So anybody have any questions?
Do you have a public value?
Yeah. Oh, you want
Would you
to?
like to?
Yes, the 2016 can go anywhere from about $7,500 to upwards of 13,000. So that's that one. And the Tahoe, because of the low mileage on it, can go anywhere from about 25,000 to 28,000. Shall we proceed?
Yeah.
First one we will open for the 2016 police interceptor is going to be a bid of $3,250. The next one we have will be the sealed bid for the 2018 Tahoe. Sealed bid of $6,580. And then the last one will be a sealed bid for the 2016 Ford Interceptor. And the bid for that, $2,680. Any questions?
The second bid, 6,000.
$6,580 for the Tahoe,
And that's for the Tahoe.
for the Tahoe.
With the blue book value of 25,000.
Yep.
That's our own.
Correct.
I would like to see us try to redo it and set our prices at the minimum below the low of blue book value.
Have a reserve on it.
I would agree with Councilwoman Octavia.
I would be open to redoing this. I don't know if it's realistic that we're gonna get the real value. My guess is we can get closer.
Yeah.
I would say our ideal price on something like the Tahoe, we'd probably be looking at high teens, low 20s. Just knowing what the market is today. I don't think a lot of vehicles are actually selling, especially used vehicles are selling for book value. So I don't think it'd be realistic to expect that we're gonna get them. The Interceptor, I could potentially see us getting a little higher. I don't know if we'd get much more on that.
So I think the general consensus is to review
Yes.
both good.
And I would concur, seeing these bids, I don't think we are gonna get the Kelly Blue Book value for any of them. I am 100% in alliance with Councilman Francis. I think high teens, maybe low 20s for the Tahoe, and then maybe, reaching 8,500 to 9,000 for the interceptor.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
On to the draw again.
Alright, number 17.
I don't really have an additional report. I just wanted, I had discussed with the mayor, a proposed resolution dealing with some funds that the city has in, pension fund. And I don't know if was that discussed, that was discussed at your budget meeting.
It was, but we need to approve the resolution tonight.
Yeah, I would, like to just change that resolution just a little bit before you approve it. Just put more of the historical background so that a year or two from now, somebody's wondering how that money got out of that fund. We have something that documents it. My understanding is that the city council, do you remember what year that was? 2006 created a levy to create a pension fund, and there's a section of the century code that allows the city to do that. And then what should have happened is once that money started coming into that fund, there should have been a pension board with employees and city officials, and then the employees should have been allowed to add that as a benefit. There's this provision of the century code that outlines how that's supposed to work. And then at the point where the city decides it no longer wants to have a pension, then that board is supposed to take action to end the pension program for the city. And then if there is money left, then by resolution, the council can move that from the pension fund into the general fund. So you're going to be able to do that. But because of the fact that there's no paper trail, except that you started the city had a levy and collected money and then nothing else happened, I'd like to just add a little bit of detail to the resolution that moves the funds into the general fund, so that if it's the city's audited or somebody looks at this in a year or two, it's more self-explanatory as to like what happened. Because right now you have money in a what I would call a restricted fund, and you're moving it out of that fund, and I think we should have maybe just a little bit more explanation.
So, because the preliminary has to be approved, can we do that tomorrow?
It's not affected by just
By
by
the
such the general. Just to dissolve the account, we need the solution.
Perfect.
So I'll help that for you. And then the only other thing is I provided you with copies of the affidavit and criminal summons involving a former Lincoln employee who has now been charged related to some accusations of misappropriation of city funds. And we continue to monitor that and monitor the bond claim that the city has made with Ender over that. I don't know if what's ultimately going to happen with the bond claim, but we are continuing to work with Ender to try to move that forward. And I have more information, I'll let you know.
Anything for the engineers report?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. I'll to be a little speedy here, but I've got a number of items to hit on. I attended a number of meetings this month of July and into August. So on July 3rd and the 17th, the regular city council meeting. July 8th was the special city council meeting. 14th was MPO TAC committee meeting. The 25th was land development meeting. 29th was planning and zoning board meeting, and no board of adjustment was held. In addition to those meetings, I had the privilege to sit down on July 17th with office staff and get to know them better and understand how they do operate and get a better feeling for how things work at the city of Lincoln. So I appreciated that. And I was able to do the same today with the public works staff. So thank you for their time. in allowing me to do that. We do have some final plats as far as application reviews going on. I have a few questions and I'm still working to get paperwork on the final plat for the Ridge third edition and Turkey Meadows edition. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to button things up and bring those to you for consideration at the next meeting. I do not know when the public meeting is set.
I think that's.
I think it
It's only.
is for the next,
Never comes. What do you want us?
yes, but I will talk to you about it or send you information about it. Okay, thank you for that. In addition, we have some residential or a residential development application in that I'm reviewing. Some accessory buildings. Variance request, I'm guessing, because we got some documentation in, I believe yesterday, for a building that had previously come before the city and was denied. So it sounds like they're coming back through, and I'm waiting on documentation yet, so I don't have background information to compare to. So
South Point.
Yep.
yes, okay. So I'm hoping that I get that tomorrow or early part of next week, so I will be able to give you a better report and better background when I have that history. Also had a number of residents reach out questioning sidewalk placement along Dolan Drive, some questions regarding driveway concrete and landscaping, and some questions regarding a drainage ditch. So I've been talking with residents already and they found me quick. But it's been nice to visit with them because they've been very pleasant and patient with me, not up to speed yet on our ordinances and codes, so giving me a little bit of time to get them responses. So I appreciated that. Lastly, I wanted to share with you that I've been asked to represent the city of Lincoln on a selection committee for the Fringe Area Road Master Plan update with MPO TAC. As part of this role, I'm assisting in reviewing consultant proposals, scoring submissions, and participating in interviews and ranking exercises, which are anticipated to be held September 2nd through the 5th. We already made it through the scoring process and putting together how the different communities that are part of the MPO TAC want to move forward and score these proposals. So I look forward to representing you on part of that committee, as part of that committee. And that's what I have for you this evening. Any questions regarding the engineering report or any engineering items? Or whatever else you want to ask.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And at this point, then we can start with our portfolios, starting with Councilwoman Natalia.
I don't have anything to report. My portfolio.
Ms. Bjornstead. Yes,
Nothing too crazy on the public or on the public safety front, other than the rural fire department station was almost complete. They have a little concrete work and some landscaping to do. And they are hoping to get their new fire engine here at the end of September or early October.
Yay, perfect. Councilwoman Davis.
So for beautification, I gave you the wrong ones. For beautification, just remember that there is a form on our website to fill out if you are wanting to do so. Please do that and then send it in either my email or the city's email. There was a little insert in the water bill. Many people got it, some did not. It's just information, that's all it is. It doesn't mean that you're on any sort of notice. It's just information, so that's all I have for you.
All right, Councilman Shoemaker.
Director Shute was kind enough to type up a summary of events that he's been working on. The Public Works has hauled out all the trees and grass. There's been a lot of grass with all the moisture and heat and having. The sinkhole at the west end of Dolan has been fixed and all the asphalt has been hauled out. They also raised a manhole on Dolan by Whitlow Street and they moved all the ditches. They've been out with the GIS, marking curb stops. And the director continues to work on the budget as we move forward with that. And you mentioned they also had a lunch meeting with Loretta, our city engineer, to discuss some probably amongst other things, maintenance schedule for roads and stuff.
That's what I'm.
Actually, I'll jump up here quick and just respond that we actually hit on a lot more topics than I had even hoped to. So it was really nice to hear about areas where we have issues with utilities and roadways, things that they feel like we really need to focus on right off the bat. And we have a plan on how we want to get started, especially with ideas for maybe a smaller project that would work well for the flex funding. We want to get that application in, and I want to have good understanding from staff on what those important needs are. And we want to make sure that either we're looking at a project where we look for additional funding and we update utilities and storm sewer and the roadway as needed, or we look for an area that really needs the road work done and we can either get utilities are not in the road or they're in good condition. So staff is going to get us an idea of how we want to move forward. And then we will be putting out an application for flex funding to get that work moving forward. That's our plan. So we talked about a lot of things. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so, Lincoln Days, Ashley has compiled the logos that were submitted. And you have those in your packets. Is there interest in narrowing down the selection? And when EDC had contacted me, I had asked about a table that we could use to have people vote on Lincoln Days for this. And apparently there had been a cancellation of one of the vendors, so we do have an opportunity to have a table indoors. So people can come in and vote for the logo that they would like to represent the city. That's fun. There are 3 that are more the poster or banner opportunity. So that this council might want to provide a different route of showing those rather than having those as specific logos that would go on our letterhead and things like that. But
I have a question. I saw that in the packet. Forgive me if this was discussed, but are these being submitted? Do we have contracts with the artists or the people who are seeing these? The reason I ask is that at some point before the city employs any of these, we want to make sure that we've got, we've got some kind of agreement with them. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that was on the radar, not to have a conversation after the city has bought stationery or whatever, and then all of a sudden now we've got a copyright issue of some kind, or trademark issue.
and with that, these aren't necessarily a final. If say we voted to the city votes to have, say, number 5, that may alter, or the council may alter like the colors or something like that. So it's going to have to be somebody sending off. There's a issue. But
Yeah, ideally, I think we treat these as works for hire, which is that if we're paying for them, we would be buying the actual property. And it would be Lincoln's on a going forward basis. And the other way to do it is that the artist or the person who created it retains it and then gives us a license that we pay for. It's better if it's a work for hire that we own over time. That would be preferred to go.
And if it's a student,
If it's what?
instead of if it's a student, how does that work?
Well, same thing, you know, we would want to have a work for hire with a student and, you know, just have something in place in writing that
Okay.
clearly where everybody clearly understands what our rights are and what their rights are, so that there's not confusion down the road after the city is, you know, we painted a water tower with it, and then now we've got a dispute over whether we have permission to use it or not, or who owns it, so.
Makes sense.
So, and like I said, there were a couple of pictures that were submitted. That council could vote on to be part of a banner or a poster. You know, maybe displayed at the school, but it wouldn't be appropriate for the business aspect.
I definitely like some of our, there's some great fun artwork in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the question.
If
Normally,
you
when
come up to the table.
So a lot of times when municipalities or schools or something do like this, they have that, like, when you submit this, that you're submitting it to the city of Lincoln and it becomes their ownership. Did you guys do something like that when that wasn't said when you sent out that? Okay.
No,
In the future, maybe we should do something like that. So we clarify that from the beginning, that when you're submitting this, it becomes property of the city. Then you don't have, and when they submitted it, they put their name on it, sign it, and then submit
well,
it. So
hopefully we won't have to. For about years.
For any other applying situations.
Right,
That'd
right.
be a great idea.
Yeah, keep that in mind for the future, because that is commonly done. That when you submit this, it becomes ownership of whoever you submit it to, and the person that submits it has to sign that, it's agreement on the bottom when they, so. Just keep that in mind, that way you don't, like Monty's saying, get into ownership issues.
I think from a practical standpoint, in terms of, you know, printing this out and for it to be legible. Maybe there are some that wouldn't work so great for that.
So do we want to reduce the number that we present for? Yes.
I would say there's probably three of them that kind of stand out to me as being pretty decent options as far as like letter and everything goes.
Okay. Those. Do we want to?
got enough chocolate for everybody down there? I like number 2. You can bring them out. I'll return Reg.
Okay, so like should we start with,
Each one take like a year or so of them.
I think that's what
I would say the three that kind of stand out to me as being good options would be 1, 4, and 5.
Okay, Councilwoman Davis.
I like 2, 5, and 6. And that goes with banner and or logo.
This would be just the logo.
Just for logo 2 and 5.
Okay,
But for 5, can we add a sun? Sorry.
okay, and Councilman Arcadia.
I like 1, 2, and 10.
And Councilman Shoemaker.
1, 2, and 5.
All right, so it looks like 1, 2, and 5 would go.
That's most schools.
Have 3 each. So those would be the 3 that we would have at the table and maybe have on the truck. A poster board or something like that as we march through the parade, and then people can come and vote for those 3.
Can we add a sun to
Yeah.
number 5?
Yes.
Actually, do that.
So, and all the final stuff I did. Unless you want to work on that ahead of time. But, so as far as the banner or poster, do we want to include that in its own category or to, do a thank yous? How would the council like to approach this?
I'm sorry, could you specify what you're looking for?
6, 7, and 8, whether we want to have maybe a separate category to where we make a poster out of it and just hang them saying. Thank you for,
Your submissions?
yes,
I think that's cute.
That's good.
Very, yep, definitely.
okay, so do we have one that we would like? I'm assuming, oh, unless you want all 3,
I'm going to display.
okay,
Yeah, I'd say we do that, or we want to have them at, I think they use that table. The other ones.
just to show them.
Oh, definitely, yeah, show
Okay.
off for sure.
Well, let's do that, we'll do poster size,
The mayor and council, 6 and 7 were submitted by the same person. So if you are doing all 3, or you wanna narrow it down to 1, it was from the same.
yeah, we're just going to display them at the table.
And say thank you.
Yeah, so there won't be any.
We say posters, we don't need it, it's like printed somewhere special or just do like a. Oh, like here. How do you foresee that?
Or 3 of them on a poster board? 3 on a poster board? I don't
I
know.
just had a poster done and it was 18 by 24. So
That's
you
gonna
could
see the
put all
banners
3
about
of
the
them
same
on there.
cost, so electing 1 possibly out of 3, just as a thank you to donate back to the elementary school, or it was a smaller child who did it. For the 2, for the 6, 7. On behalf of the council for their submission, otherwise posting it at the booth. They're not named.
Council.
I just think they're so cute that they all deserve a little.
Spot
somewhere.
yeah, they can't just do.
I like the idea.
All right,
Mayor, council, I could get a couple quotes put together from my office for some online things. I just don't know the time frame of having it for the booth, how quickly we get them printed if we don't go local. Would that be something you'd like?
For the.
I got mine overnight.
Did you?
Well, okay, Miss Crown, where can I use your account number?
Just at that office. So
Local?
Yeah.
Okay, I can get a couple quotes put together, all 3 together, does that sound good?
Yeah,
Okay, I will do that then.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
They're all so cute.
I agree.
All right.
So,
Okay. Next would be the amended ordinance, because we are in the process. The ordinance amending the compensation for the mayor and council, we are going from 7 to 8. And council, 4:50 to 5. And because we have our budget meeting tomorrow. It's in here for consideration. If this is acceptable, then we can use this as the first reading. If not. Or,
All of that's something like this to me.
they don't have to have this.
The position I took, let me do your preliminary budget and then make your. So you did, because it's time to go ahead to Jen. But if you guys want to.
We just don't have to.
Yeah.
This puts the numbers out there, so tomorrow when we come, we know what's our. Yeah, okay.
so we could accept this as a first reading if we wanted to. I'll make a motion and accept ordinance number 2025, section 10407 for first reading.
We have a first by Councilwoman Davis. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilwoman Artalia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
If we could get the vote on this.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Beardsley,
No,
So moved.
That was just for the first reading.
For the first reading.
As far as the comment, I guess I would prefer for Joe's council, but I agree that the mayor need not to that it requires, but I just don't see, so it's pretty, for me, not for any other council. So it needs. Just my-
And I will clarify that, the last one became effective in, 2021, so it actually, any increase went back to 2020, which would have been 5 years. So this would be a little over 11%, which is less than 3%. Every year for that, so just putting that out there, but appreciate that. Okay, the resolution for transferring, we can do that. Next, we have a proposed draft for the city administrator position. Now, this is something that we've been talking about for well over a year. Our attorney has mentioned multiple times that he'd like to see this, somebody who's able to do some of the light work. Presents more so in this team, not in terms of the proposed drafts that get submitted would be in their semi-finished product. And then go on, so we would be more of a contractor than an employee, which is sometimes more of what's happening. So anyhow, this is just a proposed position with the drafts. It's not necessarily that we're approving the entire description. It's more giving you an idea of what that city administrator position would do. The fine details would be worked out later. If the intent in my mind would be that we use through year end to finalize, the pay, the duties, responsibilities. And then possibly third quarter, maybe November, to put it out for applicants with a start date of Q1 of 26. And this is work in progress, and this is basically so we know, yes, we do have to budget for another position. Because council has to actually create this position or authorize the position. Because it will be.
on that topic of the budgeting, have we had anybody take a look to see what kind of costs would be offset by having this, like with the attorney?
The attorneys would be a really big one, because this person would be doing a draft resolutions, ordinances, doing some of the work that way, plus it would be somebody that would look for grants and start writing some of those things. So, the 4 hours of road work that we're paying, a few $100 an hour could be offset significantly by having somebody in-house.
So essentially, the vast majority, if not all of this pay for this employee would be offset by the savings that we have 26.
And hopefully, depending on what, you can't say one way or the other,
Yeah,
but
it all varies, it's gonna.
right, and there's a learning curve and all of that, so. Like I said, this isn't everything, obviously, but.
Well, one thing that stands out to me is that not only has our attorney multiple times said that this is an important thing, but also so have outside investigators, and it's been recommended to the city over and over and over. In a very strong manner, and so I think that's something that we should not ignore, because it has been coming up and coming up several times in several with several different entities.
I agree, and I'd like to make a suggestion also for the pay, instead of just having a flat number, create a range that we're vetting applicants based on their experience or what we feel like they're. What versus just having just one.
And this is actually a perfect time to be doing this because the deputy auditor right now is working on the employee handbook, the step and grade, as well as aligning those job descriptions. And so we should be able to do a lot of the legwork on this. So I guess I would be looking for a motion to go forward with developing that city administrator position. And what that dollar amount is going to look like as far as pay. That'll be something that'll have to be determined at the time of post the position. This is just a starting.
I'd make a motion to approve proceed on developing the city administrator job position, make the city.
We have a first by Councilman Bjornstead. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Shoemaker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
And it would be the roll call, please.
Hanker,
Yes.
Furtado,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
Grayson,
Yes.
So next we have. In front of you, you have the take-home vehicle agreement. This was something provided to the auditor, the red flag in me, the reason I'm bringing it forward is because it has listed the City of Lincoln Police Department as the employer. And it's for a take-home vehicle patrol car. And it's basically it's a police department signed with the chief of police, notarized by a subordinate. I'm not against or for, I'm just looking for direction from council because we can't unilaterally enter into an agreement within the department for a couple of reasons. One, the city council actually has oversight for use of city property and not departments. So it would have to be a council decision. And then now, but I do want to point out that the notary isn't doing anything other than providing proof of identity, or that they're verifying that the person signing is the person that's being represented. So there's nothing ill going on. It's just if we're going to allow for take-home vehicle, that needs to be from the city and not from the department.
My thoughts on that is only would a take-home vehicle be warranted if the officer or chief of police were to live or reside in Lincoln. We need our vehicles here in case of emergencies or something were to happen. I get that this agreement covers insurance and liability, but we're still responsible if the car is broken into, or if something were to be stolen out of it. And then what if the officer has an emergency? It just takes away another vehicle too for being out here. If someone was closer to obtain that vehicle and go to the scene. Those are just my thoughts, but a take-home vehicle would be okay if the officer or chief is resided in the city of Lincoln. My opinion and thoughts as a council member.
It's a little bit opposition to it. Thinking it through, I feel like an officer or the chief having the vehicle with them when an emergency call comes in. Would actually save the time because then they can take that vehicle directly to the scene rather than if they don't have that vehicle, they'd have to come to the police department, switch out vehicles into the scene.
Devil's advocate on that one. Councilman Grunstead, we have the train, right? You get held up, but then traffic too. We can't warrant what traffic is gonna be like. We can't warrant the weather either. If it's gonna be a snowstorm, there's no, you know what I mean? If they can't even make it into town then. So there's a lot of factors into that. And just to allow a Lincoln officer, a Lincoln patrol vehicle to reside in Bismarck just doesn't sit well with me, even though we do have Burley County and, well, we don't have necessarily Bismarck police officers cars all the time coming out here, but they do reside out here too, but it's a double-edged sword for sure. But I think as a city, to have our patrol cars in the city of Lincoln definitely is important versus having them at home with the officer.
Before the details of an agreement like this, I think the issue is who approves the agreement, who. Our council should be the one approving this, not having internal side their department. Because it is city property. So the details aside, it needs to go before council, before it becomes an official agreement. I guess my question would be, how would something like this be dissolved? Council.
Correct me if I'm wrong, or.
I was gonna say, Madam Mayor and members of the council, I don't see this as being a valid agreement. I think that it was motivated by trying to put in writing what the policy that the police was following. I don't have any problem with that. I just speak in the execution of how we get there. And when I talked to the mayor about this, I think that there's really two issues. One is what you're talking about, which is a policy issue, which is what does the council want for purposes of its police cars and where they go, whatever. That's a policy issue. Once you resolve that, then we should have, the city should have in its handbook or by agreement what the rules are for the use of its equipment, and it's not limited to the police department. If the director of public works has a vehicle that he's driving outside of work hours or whatever, or even within work hours, like we should have a policy on that should be guided by NDERFs, whatever the insurance carriers issues are. And then any agreement that ultimately binds the city needs to come before the council and be signed. I mean, what the law requires that agreements for the city need to be signed by the mayor and the auditor. So the logistics of how we formalize the legal parts, that's not a big deal. We'll figure that out. It's really just what you guys have to set the policy, and then we'll figure out what needs to be in place for a handbook provision or a legal agreement.
And I did talk with Andrew and the auditor, and in North Dakota, the insurance follows the vehicle. So that part of it is covered. It's just at this point, are we going to allow for take-home vehicle agreements? And in some ways I do agree with you, Councilman Bjornstead. But Lincoln is 2 square miles. And stopping, getting out of a vehicle and getting into another one, I don't think is, you know, considering where the county is more likely going to be here before somebody from, you know, say West Bismarck or wherever the vehicle would be, north south. But do we want to have another vehicle that the city has to purchase to allow for a take-home vehicle of an individual that is further than that 15 minutes away? And I mean, I'm just saying 15 minutes as a general. I mean, that's up to y'all, but because the agreement was included. I thought it prudent to bring it before council.
Yeah, you're talking Burns for sure.
I like the idea of encompassing overall policy for company vehicles. And turning discussing that way, it's everybody's in the same plane field. And I hate to treat one department differently than another department, and give one special privileges that the other may have.
Well,
Just all encompassing policy.
Okay, so what would that look like? And just because we have to then develop, so, or, I mean, do we want to think about it and come back with some ideas, do a draft of what you would think that looks like?
Yeah, I think it'd be good to stay on this a little bit. We can chat it, a little research, and figure out what we feel would be appropriate.
ask him. On the idea.
Right, so we will put it on the next agenda. At city on vehicles.
And just for clarification, mayor, council, public works is not allowed to take home vehicles, correct?
Right, but if we do this, then that would be an option.
Correct. I just wanted to verify that none of our departments have this allowed or allocated to them. Right,
As of now,
right.
that I'm aware of. Okay, and I have, I'm looking to entertain the motion to change the auditor's leave request absent type from vacation to discretionary. She was on vacation last week, and not only does she have, a time change, she lost 4.5 hours coming into work that day. Since from July 6th to July 31st, there were additional 48 hours that were put in to ensure that we had our budget ready for the last budget meeting. So I would like to change her annual leave to a discretionary, which is allowed with council approval.
I'll make a motion to change the auditor's vacation to discretionary.
Before we vote on that, can we just discuss the definition of that a little bit? Has she requested that? What specifically does that mean? If I could just get clarification.
She did not request that. I actually had brought it up because she had worked, so so there's been discussion about the discretionary leave, and that's leave that is earned for specific positions. They have to be salary leave. And I think over and above a certain number of hours, we don't have that defined yet in policy handbook. I would like to see us say, okay, after 50 hours, you're allowed to take an hour for each hour worked, up to 8 hours a day or 8 hours a month. That if you're working over that 50 hours, if something comes up, you want to take a day off, or you want to have go to an appointment or things like that, it would not be necessarily with, but that's later. This hours
necessarily with vacation, or?
Right.
Okay,
right.
so she can use for discretion, or whomever can use their discretion to make that determination after 50 hours.
As of right now, there is no time with that, but those are just things that are being discussed. This would be specific to hours worked in excess of, say that 40 hours a week. And in this specific case, I think there's still, even if you add that 10 hours, you're still at nearly 40 hours of what's considered overtime at this point. So rather than taking leave and just getting these hours for the city,
So rather than calling it anything else, we'll call it discretionary leave.
right, and it won't count against her leave balance
Or her vacations.
or her vacation. Because she's already put those hours in, she's just
Makes
getting
sense.
them back. So it's good, when you work till 6 o'clock at night, you come at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning instead of 7:30, but that's it, so.
About that. Yeah. Councilman Octavia, currently the way the employee manual reads is our salaried employees or department heads, which is only chief and auditor at this time. Get up to 96 hours of discretionary leave January 1st of the year. And they have, that's the way it's written out, they get up to that with them planning discretionary leave and bringing their plan to council when they're gonna use their discretionary leave hours. That's how it's written right now.
Okay.
So there are some guidelines for people that are on salaries. Monty may know what these are, but there's like federal guidelines.
For.
Yeah, so that you might wanna look at them. Okay. Good girl. So, yeah, I mean, you should, for your own information, look up those guidelines, or maybe you could share them with them. So that you understand, like, even though they're paid salary, they basically can only work so many hours and you have to pay them overtime. So that's where the discretionary comes in, correct?
That's the same concept, yes.
Yeah, so you're not paying them the overtime, they're taking the time back
Sure.
in another way, so.
Thank you.
So, but all discretionary needs to be approved by council, so it's a matter of if council's going to approve using discretionary leave rather than vacation leave.
Can she deny this too if she doesn't wanna take that? Or would it automatically just go through? If once council approves it? Just goes through?
I had asked her before bringing it to council if it was okay, because I didn't want to overstep with her.
Okay.
And she said she was fine with that. She does put in quite a lot of hours.
And how many hours did you say is already there for that position in terms of discretionary?
They can get up to, a chief and auditor can get up to 96 hours in the calendar year. But they can't roll it over, they can't carry it over, it's up to 96 in one calendar. It's not held on like they.
Could we amend the motion on the board and include the Brown for the rest of the year?
I don't believe there's been a second, I don't believe there's been a second yet, so technically, I don't know that you have a motion yet. I think there was a motion, but I don't know that it was second yet.
And so the number of hours that she had requested was 36, but she only took 31.5 hours. And she had over 48 hours of extended work hours. 23.67 the first pay period, and over 24, nearly 25 the second pay period.
My motion still good on the table, or did it just go in?
First by Councilwoman Davis.
Can you
It's
still
still
alive?
motion, please. A motion to allow, or entertain a motion to allow for discretionary leave instead of the vacation leave previously approved.
So
In the
this,
amount of 31.5.
she would have just this vacation time back.
Correct.
I would second that motion.
We have a first by Councilwoman Davis, a second by Councilman Bjornstad. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And so moved. We could get a roll call for that, please.
Yes.
Hartog, yep, Davis,
Yes.
Bjornson.
Yes.
I apologize for, maybe I should have just wanted to, deputy auditor explain that. Right here. Learning curve. Okay. Is there anything else for the good of council?
There's one thing I forgot to bring up, does council have any, we have a request for. There's a UMary student looking for an internship internship position with the already marketing type committee. Is sitting highly interested in offering an internship this fall for a marketing position. I'm going to research about how to grow the city or anything like that.
I think that would have to come before our city auditor, because they would be the ones that would be working with the individual. And whether they have the time, I guess, do you have any input on that?
No, not.
I just wanted, it was emailed to me, so I just wanted.
Yeah, I think internships are great, it's going to put down that, so maybe with.
Maybe after budget, I will have, we will have the thoughts.
That's all.
All right, and as a reminder, tomorrow 2 p.m. we have our second budget meeting. So we'll see you all then. It is 7:35. We stand adjourned.